Welcome to Purpose Living Podcast. We're a podcast that is training to do life God's way. And we have a brand new episode like we do every week, unless she can't show us. But today we're talking about stepping out of our comfort zone. There are many things that could happen in our lives that sometimes being able to be in certain situations could keep us. We would love to stay in our little box or comfort zone, you may say, that we like to live in. But we are always striving to live a life, even though we know that it's not going to be perfect, right? But we're trying to live a life that is, we're trying to find progress in everything that we do. Hopefully we find support and accountability from a lot of other different people. And hopefully we can find people, one, we have to be people that are understanding, that can be there holding us and sharing the truth and love to help us continue to expand out of our small box. So, those are going to be the areas that we're going to touch today. So, that is what we're talking about, stepping out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, so this kind of came to me because I have recently just decided to step out of my comfort zone with our speed training that he's been putting me through. Like, I have a background in fitness, been a personal trainer, in the gym world for almost 20 years now, but speed training and agility training is different than what I am used to. And so it is outside of my comfort zone. And it has just taught me just different little lessons as we, do anything outside of our comfort zone. That is where growth happens. And we can't expect growth if we're just complacent and just doing the same thing every day. We're not going to grow. We're just going to either stay the same or we're going to go backwards. And so we have to embrace stepping outside of our comfort zone if we truly want to grow. But one thing that I definitely learned that was very humbling for me was, he would show me some things and I expected I just want to be able to do this really well and be a rock star at it. And I was absolutely not a rock star. It was not so pretty at all. And how much just little things that I didn't realize, all the little technique makes such a huge difference in when, we're training that way. And so I think that kind of applies to anything that we want to grow in. We can have these goals and these desires, and then we think, okay, I'm just going to conquer the world and I'm just going to be able to do this and it's just going to all be perfect and I got this. When in reality, we're not going to be perfect, and there's going to be bumps in the road, and there's going to be things that we don't know, and there's going to be things that we're not good at, and we're going to fall down. But are we willing to get back up, and are we willing to keep contending in the process?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably one of the biggest struggle for a lot of us. It's wanting to do things quickly, learning how to do things quickly. And to be honest, if we want to be good at what we're doing, it takes time for us to learn how to do those things. So, for myself, that's something that's the story of basically in my life is learning, be slow in the learning process, because it's gonna take a long time for us to actually truly grasp what we're doing, so that we don't make silly mistakes down the road. So, for me, it starts in probably, I would say, coming out of high school, trying to make the decision of, okay, am I gonna make it to the next thing, which is going to college, right? Okay, what kind of college do you want to go to? I want to go to a 4-year college. I was an athlete my whole life in high school. I want to continue to do that. There are certain school community colleges that you can go and do that, but for me, my goal was to make it to a 4-year college and do that at a highest level that I can. So I went into my counselor's office and he was like, buddy, you might just go to a 2-year college because your grades are not looking good. So I was like, it took me time to finally for it to settle down, but then I just kind of made my decision there, right? I made my decision there that I'm going to have to push myself out of my comfort zone in order for me to reach the goal that I need to, which is studying more, doing a lot of other things that, it's gonna take for me to compete at that level that I want to compete at. So for me, it would have been a lot easier for me to say, hey, let me sit back and just join the crowd, because a lot of people coming out of my high school at that time, my siblings went through that same community college. It would have been a lot more easier for me to say, you know what, this is the route. Let's just go ahead and do it. But I literally had to buckle down my senior year and be like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to make it to happen, but you know what? I'm going to go all in and I'm going to make it happen. And thankfully, I somehow squeezed a 2.7 GPA, and I was able to get into the college the one college I went for a visit, it was the one college that I went to, and I was able to do that. But, on top of that, somebody who is an international student at that moment, I was on a time. Like, it was on time because the moment I graduate, my paperwork is finished. So you got to make different plans for that. So a lot of things in my life have taught me how to, not just sit in my comfort zone, but yes, is it going to be challenging? Absolutely. Getting out of your comfort zone is not, not everybody is like used to doing that. Mm-hmm. But you gotta, just like she said, nothing that we truly want comes in our comfort zone. Our growth, our maturity comes out of our comfort zone. And the moment we start to accept those challenges and embracing those challenges to say, okay, you know what, this is not what I'm used to doing, but I'm going to go full in and truly trust the process that's going to happen, which we'll talk about later, and completely allow other people around me to support me, which, is our next transition into what we're going to talk about next. That's going to help me get me out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to mature, which a lot of times we don't allow ourselves. But the challenge is allowing yourself the time to really go through those challenges that you're facing at the moment so that you can get yourself out of your comfort zone. When you get yourself out of the comfort zone, then you can embrace the challenges that come.
Yeah. And with the next part, stepping out of your comfort zone, really think about, okay, where am I stepping out of my comfort zone? Is that in my, physical health goals? Am I trying to grow in my faith? Am I trying to grow in my marriage? Am I trying to buckle down on my finances? Or maybe I'm picking up a new hobby, like trying to learn how to play guitar. Whatever it might be, it's stepping out of what is normal for you, what is habitual for you. And so in order to create new habits, and to be able to establish that as a new part of what you're growing into, you really need to have support and accountability around you. And so thinking about whatever it is that you're trying to grow in, who is it in your life that is actually doing that thing and doing it well? Not talking about it, not but actually living it out. Those are the people that you want to, ask, okay, for him, he is a really good speed and agility coach. He does it, he practices it. He did this little hoppy thing that he had me do, and I'm like, well, you look so graceful and I look like a mess. I'm like, what? Why can I not do this? But what he said to me, he was like, don't, and that's part of the first one, don't expect that you're going to just get it right away. You have to put in the work and take the time with it. Yep. And I was like, oh yeah, because I just want to look as graceful as you did, and I'm not, but that's okay. But the reason that I asked him to do that is because I knew that was his area of expertise. I knew that he could guide me well. And actually our neighbor boy, he raced me the first day that we started training. And he was like, we're going for it. And then he seen me the other day after a few weeks, and he's like, oh man, I don't think I can beat you anymore. So, from his little neighborhood perspective, he's seen that improvement in that few weeks because I leaned into somebody that I knew that could take me there. So let's say, your goal is you want to have grow in your faith life. Then you want to find somebody who's actively living a faith life of maturity. If you're wanting to grow in your financial situation, you want to follow or to gain support from people that are also doing it and actually living it, not just talking about it. And so really having that accountability and support from the right people is what's going to help you step out of that comfort zone. And when you don't want to do it, they're going to help you show up even on your hard days.
Yeah, and that is completely true. To just kind of track back to the story that I had, I had a wonderful support, whether it's my parents, whether it's my sibling, but one of my mentors was the huge. He always reminds me of, okay, what do you want to achieve? Mm-hmm. What are your goals? Well, if you want to do that, well, you better get yourself going and doing this and doing that. And he will literally tell me, hey, you should probably not hang out with those people. If you're trying to reach this place that you say you want to reach to, you should probably not reach out. So that's the kind of support that you want in your side, right? It's not just people that are just gonna, I might get in trouble for saying this. Not just like cheerleaders, right? You're winning the game.
I used to be a cheerleader.
You're losing the game, they're still cheering. You're winning the game, they're still cheering. Which one is it, right? But you truly want people that will like truly hold you accountable. And that was like, he knew what my goals were, and he was like, you know what? If you want to truly reach this goal that you have set yourself here, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Doing this and doing that is not gonna get you there. Mm-hmm. Well, how are you doing in your homework and those things? And those are the people that you want beside you, right? Those people that are gonna challenge you. And for me, like I shared last week. Just saying try, and one of my buddies calling me out and saying, why don't you just say do instead of saying try? Just say, I'm going to do this. Small things like that, it makes the biggest difference in just how you carry yourself and how you think about the steps that you're trying to take to move forward. Mm-hmm. So for me, when it comes to, having support and accountability, you got to be able to kind of put your ego aside and be like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but you've been there before. Can you guide me through this? A lot of times, it is just our ego getting in the way. Like for me right now, I truly believe I'm in the transition of switching like professions. Not that I'm completely out of that, but it's learning around now. What I'm doing is learning patience with this transition time of, okay, this is how things are going to look like. What you want is not going to happen right away. But it's going to come. But be patient with it. When the time comes, you already have the skills and everything that you've learned from the past that can help you get through there. But you have to navigate this part of your life at this moment. That's just part of getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Putting yourself in a place that you've never been before. Heck, us starting this business. She has built a fitness business from the ground up, right? I have just lived my life in track coaching. So now we're trying to come together. We've never worked together side by side together to build something up from the ground up. So now we're looking around to find people that can help us with any ideas or any advice to help us grow this thing up, right, from the ground up. We already have the set of skills that we trust ourselves and we completely have the confidence in ourselves to build this thing up. But we are in a place that, the income is kind of low and your heart rate might go up a little bit. But at the same time, we're like, you know what? We're all in this. And in order for this to happen, this is what we have to go through so that we can have that appreciation down the road.
100%. And honestly, yeah, I mean, it's completely uncomfortable in like what we can see, but we have the vision and we know where we're going and we know our heartbeat and why we want to do it. Like we truly, truly care about people becoming healthy and whole. And we know we live that lifestyle and we want so badly for other people to have the experience, the freedom that we have experienced. And so figuring out the business logistics is out of our comfort zone, but we know we have the skill sets, we know we have the heartbeat, we know we have the mindset, we know we care and want people to have that success. And so it's going to happen because that's just, we're dedicated and we're committed to the process and trusting that. But really whatever area that you are looking for growth in, whatever you're focusing on, just continue to like look at, okay, what is it that I'm going for? Why is it important to me? Have that compelling why. And then, okay, I'm going to get uncomfortable. I'm ready to embrace that uncomfortable. And I'm ready to put people around me to support me. And I actually just wanted to share you might think, I don't have those people in my life. I don't have anybody that can come alongside and support me. Well, I mean, we can help you if it's in our zone of genius, but if it's like in crafting or something, that's not in our zone of genius to find that, you actually have to put yourself in positions to go find those people. They're not just going to come to you.
Absolutely.
Like when we wanted to work on our marriage, we were in a small group with other people. There was an older couple. They just really I just really liked them. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, would you want to mentor us? And I just asked because I seen something in them. They didn't know me and we didn't know them 2 weeks prior to that. And it ended up being a really great fit. Or, we just moved to a new town 2 years ago and I'm like, I don't have any really close friends here. I'm going to start a prayer walking group and I don't know who to invite. So I'm just going to show up and do it. And, it's out of my, I'm pretty comfortable just doing random things that by this time, but that used to be outside of my comfort zone. But you just have to put yourself in that position to okay, I don't know a lot of people. How can I meet them? How can I continue to do that? And so that's part of stepping out of your comfort zone is actually finding the people and being willing to talk to them in order to ask if, they'll come alongside you or give you tips or pointers or even looking on YouTube, or there's so many resources in this world nowadays.
100%. But just because you find information doesn't mean it's something that is beneficial for you either.
Yes.
So on that note, let's wiggle to the next point, which she drives me nuts when we're doing workouts and I'm coaching her. Be coachable. She's actually really coachable. Trust the process.
So why do I drive you nuts?
Because you're easy to be distracted.
Oh yeah.
The neighbor comes out and I'm trying to help her learn something and she's out talking to the neighbor. I'm 4 minutes ago you're supposed to go. Now you're cold. Let's go. Being coachable. That is so for me. I am an athletic coach. I coach track. This is probably one of the biggest things that I look for in the people that I recruit, the young men and young women that I recruit. It makes the whole process move a lot smoother when you have somebody who is coachable. So when it comes to being coachable, we're not saying you're like a little kid that you sit on the desk and what do we mean? I will speak for myself, and you can talk for yourself. When we talk about being coachable is being understanding and being appreciative and respectful for people's time. And also one thing that, it's awesome to see is people asking questions. She does a real great job on asking questions. So that it doesn't look like, for me personally as a coach, it doesn't look like I'm just giving you information, right? I want it to be something that if I teach it to you today, tomorrow when you get out, you can do that on your own. You can teach somebody else. So not just providing information, but providing information that can also teach that person so that they can go out and provide for other people. And, let's be honest, if you're seeking somebody else to help you with something, it will go a long ways if you're just appreciative of their time, given the time to help you with what you're trying to grow in. So, for me, my personal story, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not bragging about myself or anything, but I really, really respected every single coach that worked with me from junior high all the way to college. Their time was valuable because for me, I saw it they can be with their family, but they're taking the time out of their time with their family to be with me. So when I come in, I'm all ears. I'm listening. Yes, sir. Hey, can you go do? Yes, sir. I'm doing it to just try to get them in their practice and out of practice to help them with everything they're doing. And to be honest with you, I still communicate with my junior high coach. I can still talk to my junior high coach, high school coach, college coaches. But that is, and they kind of shared that with me, that was the biggest thing that I was able to listen and do things the way they wanted to be done, and ask questions when needed. And that is the biggest thing. I think a lot of people think that just because somebody's coaching you and you think that they have all the answers, it's a burden to ask people questions. No, for me personally as a coach, I actually want people to ask questions because that's how you learn. Because if I'm just telling you things, then I'm just telling you things. You're not learning. You're just intaking information and you're not truly learning. So for me, that is what it means to be coachable. Unless you think different.
No, I agree, and I actually I want to brag on him for a second, just because of his coachability and because of his work ethic and his integrity. He actually had a Ponji Sunday award named after him at the school that they still give out now. I know he does not want me to say that, but it just goes to like show like when you are coachable and you're hungry, like that does stand out. And honestly, like just being like, I've worked with clients for 20 years now, and the people that ask the questions, that are coachable, that are willing to learn, that are willing to take what they learned and put it into action, they are the ones that see results. They are the ones that, you know, you want to invest your time into because they're actually going to do something with it. Like if you can, because I mean, I will pour my whole heart out into anybody and everybody, which is why I stop for all the neighbors, because I just love them all. But when you are like coachable, people will want to invest into you.
Yeah.
And it's key in being able to just be humble and just saying, okay, I don't have all the answers. I don't know all the things. Like right now in this training element, this is his zone and this is his element. So I'm going to stay humble and I'm going to stay coachable to it. You know, and certain things that, you know, somebody, whoever is like, they're gifted in that, like I want to learn from them, but not think that I'm going to like be perfect right away, but just being able to do that, and then really trusting the process, like trusting that, okay, like on day one, week one, it's not going to be, you know, like as far as maybe you want it to go right away, but that it's a lifelong journey, and actually to create habits that last, it's just a process of becoming. So I always say you don't know anything until you just naturally do it. Like you don't know it. It might be head knowledge, but until it's just who you are, that's when you really know it.
Yeah, 100%. And I would share this story. Like we were at conference, right? And it goes both ways. Coach can learn from you. You can learn from the athlete. And this is the example of me learning from my athlete. And it was just time for the 4x4 relay. And the ladies had a shot at winning. To be honest, I think we finished second. But we could have finished way below second. But one of my athletes came out of nowhere. She came running and she's like, Coach, let's switch the order. I'm like, what do you want to do? I'm like, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, it looks like this person and this person on that team, and that's a team that we're trying to beat. Like this person and this person is running on this leg, If I go third leg, we give ourselves a better chance. Then I can catch everybody else, and then we have this person anchor. I was like, done deal. Let's go do it. Because I was listening to her at that moment. That made complete sense. And a lot of times for me as a coach, when somebody is coachable and that person comes to me and they speak to me, I will listen and actually think about it and know what, let's do it. Let's do it and see how it turns out. And to be honest with you, it turns out perfectly. Like how she said it was how it planned out. Because we ran our hammer third leg and the other girl just got the baton and ran, and we finished second. So all that to say is like you just gotta trust the process when it comes to when you're being coachable. You're just trusting the process. What does that mean to trust the process, right? Giving yourself time to actually completely consume yourself with what you're learning, right? Allow yourself to truly submerge yourself with what you're learning, and then ask questions, right? Hey, I have this much. I'm in debt. This much. Okay, cool. What are your goals and what are you trying to achieve? Well, hey, Tony, I'm gonna have to break it to you. Probably going out for this month or next month, we can't do that because it's gonna, okay, well, why? But I like to go out and eat here. Is that, well, this is the reason why. Then you give your coach an awesome opportunity to actually explain to you instead of them just saying, no, you can't do that. And you're like, man, I can't do that. Then you feel down instead of actually feeling uplifted. So it gives you an opportunity to actually learn, just like she said. It makes things a lot more practical rather than just you getting information. So being coachable for me, it's, to be honest with you, it's like the number one thing. Like you got to be able to open your mind. And for me as a coach, I like to like have those conversations with people so that we can both be on the same page, and it doesn't sound like I'm just giving people information and just letting them feel crappy.
Yeah. So whatever area that you're looking to step out of your comfort zone, make sure it's an area that you actually want to grow in, because that's important. Because if you don't want to grow in it, then it's kind of pointless. So make sure that you have a good reason why you're wanting to grow in that area. You know, don't expect perfection right away. Trust the process. Work at it day in, day out. Find somebody who can mentor you, come alongside of you, and be humble, be coachable, and just continue to allow those accountability partners that are going to speak truth and love into your life to come alongside and support you.
Wonderful, 100%.
Awesome.
We are
Purpose Living Coaching.
Training to do life
God's way.
Hey, we got a system down. Catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.